welcome to BBC London News. Within the past hour, a jury has returned a verdict of unlawful killing at the inquest into the death of Harry Stanley. He was shot by police in 1999 when marksmen thought he was carrying a firearm. In fact, he was holding a chair leg wrapped in a plastic bag. Paul Curran is at the Coroner's Court in St Pancras now. Paul, what's been the family's reaction?
Well, it's fair to say that there's been an overwhelming sense of relief and also shock, because this is the verdict they've been looking for ever since Harry Stanley was shot 5 years ago. You may remember there was another inquest into this shooting 2 years ago. At that time, the jury returned an open verdict, but controversially, the coroner had only given them the chance to return a verdict of open or lawful killing. The family was very unhappy with that, so went to the High Court and had that quashed earlier this year. That's why we're here for this second verdict, and the family has now got an unlawful killing verdict. And Irene Stanley, Harry Stanley's widow, talked to me just after that verdict was given.
I've waited 5 years, so it's been a long time, a long hard struggle. But we've got here today and we've got unlawful killing. I can't bring Harry back, but I got unlawful killing for him. And there's other families out here, I'm not alone. There's loads of us, and I'd just like to thank the jury again, and justice has been done.
Paul, remind us of the circumstances surrounding Harry Stanley's death.
Well, Harry Stanley was shot just yards from his home in Hackney. What had happened was a member of the public had seen him drinking in a pub and had made an assumption that the coffee table leg that he was carrying was a sawn-off shotgun, had rung the police, and so officers from SO19 were sent out to see what was happening. They challenged Harry Stanley, and their version of events was that he'd actually lifted the bag up towards them in a sort of threatening gesture. It seems that the verdict, though, it seems that the jury, though, has rejected that version of events and believes the family's version of events, that the police officers shot too quickly.
And what happens now, Paul?
Well, the family solicitor says that what they would like now is for the Crown Prosecution Service to re-examine the evidence in this case. The CPS was actually here during the whole inquest. They have the evidence, they have the transcript, and what the family would like to see is a criminal prosecution brought. They're also calling for the officers to be immediately suspended from all duties.
Paul, thanks very much. A 12-year-old girl is being questioned over the abduction of a 5-year-old who went missing from a South London shopping centre on Wednesday. She was allegedly taken to a public swimming pool and then a park before being abandoned outside a shop. She was later reunited unharmed with her mother. A Metropolitan Police detective has been arrested, accused of ordering a contract killing. It's alleged the 47-year-old plotted to have an East London businessman killed. Charlie Butler was shot near his home in Dagenham. He's still in a critical condition in hospital. A last-minute plea to outlaw night flights at Heathrow has been made by a local authority whose residents live under the flight paths. The government's consultation on nighttime restrictions ends today. Richmond Council fears new proposals could treble the number of night flights and cause sleepless nights for tens of thousands of people. When we think of the history of black Londoners, we often think back to the arrival of West Indians in the 1950s. But an 18th century painting reveals an older history. Our special correspondent, Kurt Barling, unravels the tale behind a famous portrait.
I needs must wake her. Madam, madam, madam.
What's in a picture? Behind a portrait of two young women at Kenwood House, Hampstead, painted by Johann Zoffany in 1779, lies an intriguing story. Intimate friends bound by birth and upbringing for over 2 decades. Both nieces of the Lord Chief Justice of England. One the daughter of a captured slave, Dido Elizabeth Lindsay.
Dido wasn't treated as a servant, but she wasn't treated as a member of the family either. And for instance, at dinners or anything like that, she wasn't there with them, but she would join them after dinner.
Captured at a time of social and political revolution, Dido's portrait is one small reminder of a largely forgotten black presence in London towards the end of the American Wars of Independence. Some historians put it at 20,000.
Look, over there, isn't that Uncle?
Their uncle, Lord Mansfield, at the cutting edge of the abolitionist attempts to get the English courts to outlaw the institution of slavery.
Because Mansfield was involved in decision-making as to the legality of slavery, there were rumors that he would be on the side of the abolitionists because of his relationship with his great niece. He was definitely against the abolition of slavery in Britain because he was aware that compensation would have to be paid to the slave owners.
Despite this tantalising glimpse of 18th century diversity, we've little idea what became of Dido, save she inherited the equivalent of a barrister's salary of £250 a year and £500 cash. Kurt Barling, BBC London News.
And BBC London are now looking for your stories and memories of London life as a contribution to Black History Month. To find out more, go to bbc.co.uk/London/Black Sport now, and London's rugby teams are all in European action this weekend. London Wasps will be looking to establish themselves as the dominant force in Europe, while the likes of London Irish and Harlequins need a good cup run to kick-start their seasons.
You know that every time you take the field, people are trying to take a chip out of you, but yeah, you've got to raise yourself, you've got to thrive in that challenge and enjoy that, and that's part of being sort of a sportsman in a successful side. So yes, it is going to be difficult, but there's no reason, you know, with the squad of players that we've got, why we can't do it.
Zurich Premiership is tough. I mean, you're playing every week, and it's hard stuff. So it's quite nice to be involved in a new competition and to play against the best clubs in Europe. So from that point of view, we're very excited about being in the Heineken Cup this year.
And we're just waiting for that perfect game where everything slips into place. You know, it's been a problem with London Irish. Our consistency over the past few years has really let us down. One week we're perfect, and next week we're terrible. So we're just waiting for everything to gel, as you say, and hopefully it'll be all right.
Now the weather with Peter. Are we in for a wet weekend, Peter?
A lot drier than it has been, Samantha. In fact, we've got a few little bits of blue sky above London at the moment, but what you can't see are rain clouds that way to the north of London, and also some more rain clouds that way to the south. So through the rest of today, this little sliver of brightness will move northwards. The first little area of rain will move up into the Midlands, and the next one moving up from the south coast, well, that will slip across us through the afternoon, through the evening, and very slowly overnight tonight. So it's going to be a cloudy night tonight. In fact, it's going to remain cloudy for the next few nights, so they're not going to be cold. The temperature in town around about 10 degrees, nearer 7 or 8 Celsius out in the countryside. So a cloudy start tomorrow morning, a cloudy start to the weekend. The overnight rain should be moving away into East Anglia. Sky's brightening up for the afternoon, but we're likely to have a scattering of showers, and later on in the day, perhaps the odd heavy one could turn up over the tops of the Chilterns. Now don't forget, Saturday night, British summertime comes to an end. We revert to UK Standard Time, so put your clocks back an hour and have an extra hour in bed on Sunday morning, because it's not going to be very exciting. It's going to be a dull, damp start today on Sunday. We'll probably keep a little bit of rain going all day to the east of town, but to the west a bit of sunshine. Looking good for Halloween, I think. Cloudy skies will make it dark and misty, suitably spooky, and good news if you're trick-and-treating with the kids, it should be dry. Back to you, Samantha.
Thanks, Peter. Now, in the 1970s, his pop fame made flat caps and playing the piano fashionable. Now, Gilbert OSullivan, who was spotted by DJ John Peel, is back with 2 new albums and a nationwide tour. He was famous for hits like this. Why is it you must be so very cruel? Well, I spoke to Gilbert and asked him what he's been doing since his 70s heyday.
Well, no, everybody goes through that period where you high-profile hits in the 70s and stuff, and then it tails off, you know. Last Top of the Pops I did actually was Top of the Pops 2, which I did just late last year and stuff. So I've been back there. Last hit record on Top of the Pops was, I think, in 1980. But that's quite normal. It's a stage you go through, and then you move on, and you don't get the hits anymore. But that doesn't mean that you're not working or you're still not making records.
So you have been busy then?
Markets change. Absolutely.
So what have you been doing?
I'm a great digger now. No, the key for me, everything I do is about writing and stuff. I spend about 9 months of the year writing, 3 months promoting, and release a new album every 2 years. Promote it, go on the road, as we're doing now, and do some concerts, let people see you in the flesh. And that's pretty much it. I mean, I enjoy doing it. I wouldn't, if I didn't enjoy it, I wouldn't do it.
You've got 2 new albums out and a new single. Let's take a listen at that now. I don't know anyone
whose love has gone, who does not require a vast amount of these.
So who's the new album aimed at? Who's it going to be popular with?
Anybody who's interested in what I do. I mean, I don't aim at any, I mean, I'm not interested in pinpointing who it is might like me and stuff. I mean, I just write songs, release the records. We have a new album of new product, and we have a best of, and it's pretty much the two albums combine my whole career.
Now you've got a tour starting next week. Tell us about that.
Well, we're off around the country, again, culminating in the UK, Ireland, and Europe, and we're doing the normal 2.5-hour show. Lots of old and new material, well-known favourite songs, and that's pretty much it. I mean, it's an enjoyable experience because when you make records, you don't get to see the people that might like you. They buy your records. Whereas with the concert, the opportunity is for everybody to meet you in the flesh and stuff. And I get to see the kind of people that like me.
Gilbert OSullivan, thank you very much for joining us, and good luck with the tour.
Thank you.
That's about it from me. Gillian Joseph will be here with this evening's programme at 6:30. But from now, from all of us, have a very good afternoon.